Hello everybody, in this lesson I will help you with your June exam preparation. I will discuss question 11 of the 2021 paper. This question is on calculus application. At the end of this video you will see that I added the calculus playlist and there's plenty of examples on calculus application. I suggest you watch those videos as well. Let's continue to the question. Now here you see the question and it counts 7 marks. Remember, this question shouldn't take you longer than 7 minutes in the exam. Why don't you pause the video and try the question and then go to the explanation. Okay, after traveling a distance of 20 kilometers, so that is D, 20 kilometers from home, a person suddenly remembers that he didn't close a tap in his garden. He decides to turn around immediately and return home to close the tap. The cost of the water at the rate of which water is flowing out of the tap is R1.60 per hour. So this is the cost of the water. The cost of the petrol is that 1,2 plus x over 4,000 rands per kilometer, where x is the average speed in kilometers per hour. Calculate the average speed at which the person must travel to keep his cost as low as possible. So, in fact, this translates to the minimum cost. And what do we know about minimum maximum? It's the derivative equal to 0. So what we are looking for is an equation that represents the cost. Now, first of all, just keep in mind that the equation for time is distance over speed. And we're going to use that now in the next slide. All right, from the previous slide, we know that time is 20 over x, and now we're going to work out an equation for the cost. So where do we find the cost? The cost is equals to the water cost times the time plus the distance times the petrol cost. And then if you slot this into an equation, can you see the water cost was 1,6 and the time we just calculated in terms of x is 20 over x, plus the distance was the 20 and the petrol cost was x, that 1,2 plus x over 4,000. And now we will just multiply everything out. So what happened here was I said 1,6 times the 20 over x. And then this one, you're going to use the distributive property. That means you're going to take the 20 and multiply by 1,2. It's 24. And it becomes x over 200. Now that we have an equation, we want to work out the minimum cost. We want to find the derivative, but there's a problem. You cannot find the derivative if the x is under the line. So first of all, you will have to take your x up, and remember, if this x goes up, the exponent becomes -1. And what I also did, I just took the constant to the end, and x over 200, this is fine as long as the x is not under the line. So now, minimum cost, find the derivative and equate to 0. What happened? -1 goes to the front, finds 32 there, it becomes -32, and then on the exponent I subtract 1. And then what happened here was there was an invisible 1, it goes to the front, and then when I subtract 1 again, it's x to the 1 minus 1 is x to the 0, which is 1. and then 1 times 1 is 1 anyway. Nothing happened to the 200 under the line. And then what happened to this 24 is the derivative of a constant is 0. And now we have this equation, and we're going to solve the equation, but we cannot solve it if that x to the negative 2 is under the line. So what I did was I just took it to the denominator, and then there's this thing where you take the 1 over 200 to the other side, and then you can swap the left-hand side and swap the right-hand side so that the x squared is on top and the 200 is on top. And then you're going to divide right through by the negative. And I also cross multiplied, and I said 200 times this 32 is the 6,400, and 1 times x squared is x squared, and I divide it by the negative, and then we take the square root, so x is 80 kilometers per hour. And then where's your 7 marks? Your marks are there, time is 20 over x. This part of your equation, the water cost times time, 1 mark. The distance times petrol cost, 1 mark. For multiplying everything out, finding the derivative equal to 0, and the derivative, and then your final answer. As promised, you will find the playlist on calculus as well as the next video. That one is in the left hand corner. Click on that video and it will take you straight to question 12 probability.